Very good morning, students. Today we are going to start class 5th English grammar, chapter number 5, adjective of comparison. So we will move to the introductory part. Now, in introductory part, adjectives are words that describe the qualities or the quantities of a noun and a pronoun. An adjective is a word that gives more information about the noun. Some examples included like Paula is a talented girl. Which type of girl? Paula, talented singer. Next, Mahmoud was an excellent comedian. He was a comedian. But which type of comedian? Excellent comedian. Next, the green meadows had a calming effect on little Tom. It means meadows are there, grassland are there, but which type of grassland? Green. And Tom have an effect like little. Adjective also include words that quantify nouns. For example, there are millions of stars in the sky. It means we are counting the quantity wise. Another example can be the cake should have 10 rosettes. Rosettes, it means dish, or we will say plate. It means the cake should have 10 plates. Now we will move to the next slide. Now as you can see in the examples above, an adjective usually follows a noun. In the sentence, Paula is a talented singer. Talented is the adjective that comes before the noun, singer. Similarly, in the other examples, you are able to see the adjectives are excellent, green, little, and millions. However, in some cases, an adjective follows a linking verb such as is, seem, be, and so on. These adjectives are called predicate adjectives. For example, the pool in the new club seems to be used. Now we will move to the next slide. Now, comparison of adjective. By the picture you are able to recognize this thing. Now that you are familiar with the basic concept of adjective, let us understand the comparison of adjective. You can use adjective to compare the characteristics or attribute. Attribute, it means quality of a person or an object. For instance, Charu is shorter than her sister. Next example, Parul is better at singing than dancing. So now we will move to the next slide. Now in this slide you are able to see comparison of adjective. As you can see, we are using adjective to compare the characteristics. Now the three forms of comparison include the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. The positive adjective is the most basic form of the adjective. In other words, we are able to say any adjective that you use to describe a quality of a noun is a positive adjective. For example, in the sentence, the Burj Khalifa is a tall building. The word tall is the adjective in its positive form. So now we will move to the next slide. Now, after the positive degree, we read about comparative degree. We use the comparative form of an adjective when you want to compare the difference between two objects that the adjective defines. For instance, using the same context, we can say the Burj Khalifa is taller than the Patronite Tower. Here, taller is the comparative form of the adjective tall. Finally, we read about superlative degree. It means you use the superlative form of an adjective to describe an object when it stands out as the highest or the lowest among all other objects. Here, The comparison is between two or more objects and one object among all others stands out. Using the same context, we can say that the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. Here, tallest is the superlative form of the adjective tall. So next we will move to the next slide. So now, guidelines for the comparison of adjectives. Let us now discuss a few guidelines that you should follow for using comparative and superlative adjectives. First, the one-syllable adjectives. You should add the suffix er for the comparative adjective and the suffix est for the superlative adjective. If the adjective is spelled as a consonant, a single vowel and a consonant, then you should double the last consonant in the comparative and the superlative form. Here are few examples. Big, bigger, biggest. Thin, thinner, thinnest. Mad, madder, maddest. Tall, taller, tallest. So we will move to the next slide. Now the second point is, with two-syllable adjectives, you should add the suffix er or the word more before the adjective to form the comparative. To form the superlative, you should add the suffix est or the word most before the adjective. In most cases, both forms are used. Also, if the adjective ends with a y, change the y to an I in the spelling. Let us see a few examples. Happy, happier, happiest. Ugly, uglier, ugliest. Slanted, more slanted, more slanted. What is the meaning of slanted? Turn, or we will say fold. Next, mangled, more mangled, most mangled. What is the meaning of mangled? Kill, or we will say destroy. So we will move to the next slide. Now the third last point is, finally with adjectives with three or more syllables, you should create the comparative form by adding the word more in front of the adjective, and you should create the superlative form by adding the word most in the front of the adjective. See the article the before the word most. Let's see some examples. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Complex, more complex, most complex. Expensive, more expensive, most expensive. Wonderful, more wonderful, most wonderful. So we will move to the next slide. Now we will go for irregular adjectives. In addition to the regular comparative and superlative adjectives, the English language has other irregular adjectives that are very different from their positive form. Let us look at some examples. First, that is a good steak you have there. What is the meaning of steak? Steak, it means that is a meat. That is a meat. Then you are better at barbecuing than I am. What is the meaning of barbecue? It means it is a stick where we are burn the meat. Next, this is the best steak I have ever had. We will move to the next slide. Now, as you can see, we have used two comparative and superlative forms of the adjective good, which are better and best. Some other examples include, in a positive, comparative and superlative, bad, worse, worst, little, less, least, much, more, most. So finally, my dear one students, this is all about this lecture. I hope you are enjoying and understanding each and everything. If you have any doubts or any query, please share me in live session. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Stay blessed.